Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, do we have a mess on our hands. So long story short, I was like, I need to change some stuff up with the power delivery method. In other words, the coal was just going a little bit too much for what I wanted. So I was like, hey, I'm going to move the power delivery plant up north, towards the space biome. And I left our base without power for a bit too long, which, when you're running one of these bathroom systems, basically means, yeah, this is what happens. So when the power and the water sieve goes out, all the polluted water bypasses the water sieve and goes directly into the plants, which then takes every last bit of your clean water. So you have no more clean water coming in. It's just all bad. So now we've rehooked it up to power, so it'll start working. But we've got everybody's losing their mind and going to the bathroom all over the place. It's a mess. I mean, we have germs coming and going, and it's... So, in order to re-sieve our bathroom system, or reprime even, we got to get some more water into it. So this is a little system we're going right out through here, making a little hole. We're going to put a nice little door there and lock it so people can't really get out. Bring the fresh polluted water in, and it'll allow it to sieve and eventually allow it to build back up to the point where people can start using bathrooms again. Now, in the meantime, let me skip up here. And this is what we're working on for a new backup power solution. In order to do the cabling right, I was going to have to run one of these primary heavy watt wires all the way down there. So instead of doing that, I brought our backup coal generation up here. So now I only have to run the heavy watt wire that far. Just bring it over here. I think that'll be perfect. We will see how that goes. I think we're actually going to put a smart battery in here too and put the automation on there. And that way we know, hey, only turn on when this smart battery gets down to X. It's kind of like the delivery system for the entire, or the monitoring system for the entire setup. We're actually going to put it over here though, because we may end up adding more. And look at this, some even more good news. The printing pod pops up and decides to give us another 200 kilos of glass, which 200 kilos of glass tells me it's time for another solar panel. With the power on, you can see that even some of the toilets are starting to get primed. It's not a lot, but it would eventually fill back up. It probably has 1 or 2 toilets that are active. As you can see, some when the clean water goes out, if the toilet needs it, it kind of gets it, and it gets some of the water there. But it's much better to actually have it primed. And here that priming comes right through. Make sure the water sieve's doing its business. Now, we don't want it to get too backed up, so we will definitely just delete this bridge and leave it there. Hurry up. Somebody come delete it. Beautiful. Now the water sieve will work that just fine. And eventually, all this excess will get taken care of by these thimbleweeds, which is all good, more thimbleweed growth. In the meantime, we definitely need to close this off, because otherwise way too much polluted oxygen is going to get in here, and it's going to do bad things for our crops. All bad things. We don't want those. So, all right. Now, the main part of this episode today is going to be our oxygen. We have to get our oxygen figured out. We're only sitting on 35 tons. Now, there is plenty of algae out here that we can dig in the meantime, but we need to start thinking of it because we are using quite a bit of it. And I think that's where we are going to need to go over into this next planet and see what the water system is over there, and whether or not we transfer our colony over there or we bring the water back here. Whatever we do, because, just two cool steam vents is not going to cut our water needs. So I'm not exactly sure how we're going to take care of that. We will see. Give me a second to take a look and we'll see what we find. Okay, it seems we've discovered a bug. You can't put down the heavy watt wires behind the solar panels anymore. And from my brief looking on the internets, Apparently you can, but you have to have the solar panels destroyed first. So we're about to go into another blackout. Yeah, this is gonna get messy. Let me see how much I can salvage. Alright, all the solar panels are gone. We've got the heavy watt wire down, and our batteries still have 15 kilojoules. So let's see if we can actually do this before we run out of power again. Okay, it looks like our half-built coal power plant is actually doing the backup as it needs. As you can see, we have this smart battery set on 10%, and it's because we haven't figured out quite the ratio between, the smart battery here and the jumbo batteries here. We will once they get full and full. I think it's just 2 to 1, considering a jumbo battery can hold 40 kilojoules and the smart battery can hold 20. But either way, what this says is, hey, when these jumbo batteries and the entire battery bank is down low enough, kick on the coal power plants, and it seems to be doing well, which will give us more time to get this heavy watt wire down and then the new solar panels. So as you can see, we're doing just fine redigging these or rebuilding these solar power plants. But what you just saw was when we canceled the last hour solar power plant, our glass came down here, which is, according to them, unreachable. So we need to, modify these steps a little bit to where they can actually get to them. All right, so power disaster looks to be averted. Well, I'll keep tweaking with the numbers of jumbo batteries and seeing what the ratio is here. But these jumbo batteries, I want to make sure they get really, really close to empty before the coal generators kick on. Because I don't want one of those situations where, hey, it's about to be daytime and the solar panels would take the load. But instead, the coal generators kick on for 30 seconds. I'd rather conserve as much coal as we can. Without doing any extra digging right now, we're only down to like 16 and a half tons. So that's not going to cut it. So we'll see how we can do there. Oh, we have a damage overloading, which means there's a wire there we forgot to replace. There we go. All right, we got all 4 solar panels up and going, looking beautiful, and our batteries are charging well. We'll come back to those in a minute and see how they do, comparatively speaking. We want to make sure that the smart battery does not kick these coal generators on unless it's absolutely necessary. So we'll do a little bit of tweaking on what's what. I've also decided we're going to go rip out all the glass inside this container as well. It's just another solar panel for us. So what we'll do is we'll put a manual airlock here because it is nasty in here. And then we will just dig on out. Which this is good anyways, because eventually we will need to get in here, just in case we need to send and receive different supplies from our soon-to-be next colony of Cupola. Yeah. What, you didn't know you could grow crops inside the mess hall? Yeah, so we're starting to run a little low. We got a little bit of pickled meal, and we got some barbecue out of the printing prod a little bit ago, and we're starting to get into our muckroot reserves. So that tells me we need to be making more food. So I've added enough mealwood for another 2 dupes. So that should bring us back into line. In other news, we now have 5 glorious solar panels sitting up here. And if look at this, the jumbo batteries are maxed out, which means we're kind of wasting some of this energy. So it might be good for us to add a few more of these beautiful, beautiful guys. Because if they're maxing out already, that means they're not using as much of right now all this energy that they're creating isn't going anywhere. But now the good thing is we'll get to see during the next day when it becomes nighttime how these batteries interact with each other. All right, so here it is, the beginning of the next day. The solar panels are kicking on and our batteries only got down to 36 kilojoules. So yeah, we're doing plenty good. So I will keep this smart battery down at 10%. So whenever this smart battery gets down to 10%, which I'm thinking means these jumbo batteries are at 20, because they have twice as much power available, then these coal generators will kick on. So for now, we will call our power needs complete. I was getting ready to send a dupe over, go set some stuff up on Cupola, And I was like, oh, let me go check the geysers again. And I realized there's no water there. Now, there is, if you go down, look, a tundra, so there'll be a lot of ice and that sort of thing. And there's some stuff we want over there, like the Weezeworts and those sorts of things, but there is no water source. There's ways to get water out of some of this, but I don't think Cupola is the priority. Right now, the priority is going to be water and oxygen. And unfortunately, this hot little guy here is the only place we're going to be able to get water. So we're going to need to figure out how to, tame this cool steam vent, which takes an aquatuner. And in order to use an aquatuner on it, well, we've got some stuff to set up, don't we? All right, we already have the aquatuner, and as you know, we kind of need to build that aquatuner out of steel. And fortunately for us, we do have our metal refinery already. The difficulty becomes, where do you refine? You need an ample source of cold water or some sort of, some liquid that when it heats up, it's not going to flash. So I think we're going to have to do some craziness with polluted water. It's going to be dirty. Let me see what I can figure out here. Okay, this might be the dumbest idea I've ever had. What we're going to do is we're going to core out this. And then we're going to dump a ton of polluted water into it. And this is where we'll do our temporary refining. It's so cold up here. The idea is it'll be cold enough to keep the polluted oxygen. I'm sorry. It'll be cold enough to keep the polluted water cold to where we can still work the metal refinery. I think that's going to be our next step. So, step one is to core this all out. All right, so here's our little tank. Unfortunately, we're also going to have to keep mopping up this carbon dioxide. We don't want the carbon dioxide to mix with our polluted water. That would just be a pain in the butt, because then the liquid carbon dioxide would end up in the metal refinery and all sorts of bad things would happen. So before we actually pump any of the polluted water in here, we will make sure to clean it all up first. While they're working on that, let me go start to consolidate all of our polluted water. This is going to be a pain in the butt, but we're at least going to go through here. And that way, all the bad stuff won't necessarily come out from our base. We'll see how this goes. For the meantime, let's lock this door so they cannot go out through here or in through here. Don't want to mess with all the gases, etc., etc. I think we can go right through here. And then we can start drilling down. All the way down. While we're down here, there's some nice gold too. So I think we're going to have our way with some of this. Dig all this out. We'll have a lot of the slime lung issues. We're going to have a lot of the polluted oxygen issues, but we'll try to cap this off with a couple of oxygen deodorizers right here. And hopefully that will be a good stopgap. We will see. Let me see how this works out. We have one pump here. Might as well use it to our advantage. We're actually just going to take all this out, destroy it, and send all this down here. Yeah, this will be good for now. We'll see. While we're down there, let's put a spare pump. And bring this pipe up. I already have the power here from this other pump, so we will definitely use it. Perfect. All the dupes are getting rid of all that dirt and doing all those digging. We can go ahead and set up our pipe. It's gonna be a minute, so it'll be all the way down here, and I think this will be a good connection point. Bring this one up. And then right through here. Beautiful. Lots of pipe going in, and it'll just be dumped right into here. Hopefully all this cold material here is enough to cool that it'll be enough to cool the polluted water down. We will see. Since we're going to be working on some beautiful steel, we're going to need some refined carbon. So might as well set up a couple of kilns. I want to do it away from everything because I don't want to kill this nice cold that we have. So we'll put a couple kilns up there and work them slowly. Here's kind of a start to our metal refinery area. We're going to throw the metal refinery up here. In fact, let's see what we can build it out of already. Metal refinery, granite, sedimentary rock, mafic rock, and sandstone. Yeah, not great. So I think we're going to end up going with some igneous rock for now. So we managed to get some ice out of the old printing pod, and didn't want to take any of the dupes, but we wanted to take care of the ice. And what you can do with the ice is throw it in your main little tank. Well, one easy way to do this is to go ahead and set one of these automatic dispensers over down here under liquefiable, put on ice, and then lock a door on the bottom so they can't go get the ice after you drop it. So now the ice is dropped down here. They can't go... Oh. Well, see, now... Apparently I was mistaken because now they're just climbing. So let's go ahead and fix that up, shall we? All right, that's much better. Didn't predict the old pincher pump to the... Okay, now they're starting to laugh at me. So I need to put another mesh tile there. Are they going to be able to hop over there? This simple system is quickly turning out to be not a simple system. Let's see if they can hop. Okay, now we've got it. I'm almost sure. All right, so I was wrong again. They could hop up over there. So we'll just build a few more mist tiles over there. We could also move the pitcher pump over. In fact, let's do that. Let's just move the pitcher pump over. By one. Whoa! Be careful when the game pauses to save. This is exactly what can happen. So let's cancel all that and just deconstruct this guy. Here we go. Since we got a couple of kilns up, I decided to make a bunch of ceramic, and we'll end up making the metal refinery out of ceramic. It has a much better overheat temperature, plus 200. So yeah, we'll destroy this one and create it again out of the ceramic once we have 800. So all this coming in and going out of the base is taking a lot of oxygen. These things are pretty much going full bore for a little while just to make sure all these masks stay oxygenated. So it is really working our algae reserves. We're down to 15 tons, so we're going to have to be very careful to make sure that there is still lots of algae that we can, siphon off of this land. But we're going to need to start being careful to make sure that we have enough oxygen before we end up putting up our oxidizer station. Or our oxygen station. All right, it looks like we got our first batch of warmish polluted water heading up to the top of the asteroid. This is very exciting because in the 10 years it's going to take for it to hit this vent, we'll eventually be able to use it to inside this metal refinery. Let's go ahead and wait for the polluted water to fill up, shall we? While we're waiting on our polluted water pond to fill up, we did a small upgrade to our kitchen. The simple weight plate connected to a ceiling light, and that way the dupe and the grill will get the well-lit bonus. I'm not sure if it's the grill that gets well-lit or the dupe that gets well-lit to make it easier to work. Let's find that out real quick. Well, the mystery is solved. The dupe has the lit workspace buff, which is plus 15% speed, so it is not the grill that gets the, it's being used in the light. It is the dupe that gets the plus 15% speed. Good to know. Good stuff, though. All right, we have our beautiful metal refinery up and going. We're coring out some iron ore to iron, and the way this is working is pretty simple. We're getting the nice cold polluted water here that's been sitting in our little polluted water pond. It travels up, goes into the metal refinery, and then just spits it right back out into the pond, hopefully to be recooled by the environment. We still have our water coming from the southern part of the asteroid. We're going to get this filled up. There's no reason to have the polluted water down there, so we might as well bring it all the way up here to keep it cool. We've also, in the meantime, installed some deodorizers. One, it's a great use of creating clay, making sand into clay, because we don't want this polluted oxygen just to travel everywhere. It's going to create a lot of polluted oxygen, this pond. The good steps we've taken, though, we fixed our power disaster today, even added a couple more solar panels. Our power is solved to quite, it looks like for the foreseeable future. We're still at 20 tons of coal. I don't think these things have ran since we have we added the next solar panels. So I think we're all good here. Once the metal refinery starts pumping out some steel, we'll be able to create our aquatuner, be able to cool these or tame these cool steam vents, and then be able to work on oxygen and our permanent crop supply and actually start to the business of creating our wonderful greenhouse. Part of the greenhouse for, just looking at all the plants and all that kind of stuff, but the other part of the greenhouse is definitely going to be supplying our food for the colony. I hope you had fun. I know I did too. Talk to you soon.